Peace. Travis Soda Wells, the world according to L. Here with a like-minded brother. We gonna chop it up. So how you doing today, brother?
Oh man, I'm highly favored. You know, I'm out here staying positive. With everything against me, still staying positive. You know, fighting a good fight.
No, that's right. So when you just saying everything against you, it just come to mind. It's like that ain't cute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when I was younger, and it's like Tupac, F the world, and it's like until you really work to build something, you don't realize that everything's against you.
Everything, yeah.
Until it's like that shift of the universe, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, the universe behind me though.
Yeah, 100%.
Then you start getting some people with you, but yeah, that's why I'm glad to be here with you.
Likewise, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the conversation.
So that brings us into, let's just go right into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You know, really a lot of different names for entrepreneurship. You know, hustle, going into business for yourself, and
owning your job.
There we go.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of one of the first things that I know. I get particular about words and what people say. Really, it's just because I've been misunderstood so long, and I had a period in my life that I was like, oh, it's me. And then I focused real good on my words and describing things and understanding definitions. And then once I did that, I realized people just be saying stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just go with the word entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship.
How do you define that?
Entrepreneurship is being self-motivated, self-driven, self-motivated and self-driven. Those are number two things when it comes to entrepreneurship and how I see it. Because it's nothing for you to wake up and clock in and punch a clock from 9 to 5. And do what you're supposed to do. If you're supposed to take out garbage, that means you wake up, you jump on the back of that garbage truck, you jump off the truck, you dump the trash, you get back on the truck, and you go down the street. It's very simple, very cut and dry. Entrepreneurship, it's how do I grow this? How do I sell this product? How do I sell this service? It's a constant hustle, and you have to be self-motivated, and you have to have a lot of self-discipline to continue to go forward to achieve that. Because you could give 110% every day and you get nowhere.
Right.
But you still have to have that motivation and determination to continue to move forward, knowing that sooner or later it'll pay off. It's the reps. Make sure you do your reps.
Right. You lean towards like products, services. Which way you lean as far as your entrepreneurship that you've been on?
Service. I lean more towards service just because service is one of those things America has just let fall by the wayside, right? They want what's in. They want what's cool and hip. And with every business, you can go to a restaurant. I used to be a server, right? And as a server, I focused on service. Right? Regardless of how good the food tastes, I don't care how good the chef can cook. Even if the chef is bad, my service is still going to be A1 because I know that's how I make my money. And not only that, when you have better service, regardless of what the other product is, what the other business is offering, if your service beats theirs every time, you win. Because at the end of the day, don't nobody want to have a bad complaint about their food. Wow. No one wants to have a bad complaint about their server who's not taking their drink orders and not listening to them, not checking up on them, not refilling the drink, getting ketchup, getting salt, getting peppers, all these things. But I also love service because I love being of service to people. I can sell anything, but service is what makes me happy.
Right. What come to mind, as much as you want to go into it, I'm just thinking about, that has caused you some problems also.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to taking care of people, being there for people. I mean, he's talking about just in that capacity of being a server in a restaurant piece, but you're really talking about who you are as an individual. And I mean, any part that you like to get into with that, as far as it's kind of in general what's been going on?
Well, I put you this way. As an entrepreneur, you have to go with who you are as a person. So if you are a person that loves being of service to people, then you should make sure your business is about serving others. If you are a person that can sell water to a fish, then you want to focus on product. These are things that you want to focus on, because if not, I know a whole lot of people, just like you know a whole lot of people, when you go to a store, got an attitude at the register. I'm like, if you don't like people, why are you at the register? You should have been in the back stocking. You shouldn't be up front talking to people. So, like I said, I've always been of service to people, and I've realized that I have a hero complex.
Okay.
And probably from childhood trauma or something. I'm still trying to figure that piece out.
Right.
But just being able to help others, help people solve a problem, help people be better overall. I've been to the lowest of lows, and I've been able to build myself up. So when I see others at their lowest of lows, or people that are really in need of something, I want to be able to help, even if it causes me to lose out on personal gains. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It's good, but then it's bad with this hero complex, because you can't save everybody. And you go out your way to save everybody, and then you the one getting your ass whooped. You're the one that's dealing with all the backlash of the neglect that you have toward your personal life, whether it's family, friends, or just yourself, period. Taking personal time for yourself.
Right. Well, honors to you, Noble. Yeah, you bring it up. And at the core and what my being is. And I've done a lot of reflection on, it's like, I've always had the entrepreneurial spirit, and I'm like, okay, why did it take me so long to get to where I'm at now, and why I'm on fire now? Even as you said, with the struggles, not seeing all the results I've wanted to see by now, but still moving forward. And it's really, I always wanted to bring a bigger idea to the world. That was one thing. And it was like I was always looking for that thing.
Yeah.
Whether it came from within me, but I didn't understand the lane or see the lane. I didn't create this lane either, I guess. So I was looking for the right lane for myself. And this online coaching lane, I was like, I didn't even really know existed the way it did. Like, I saw speakers and stuff like that. I mean, I'm older, so it was blogs. When I was young, like, that was the first kind of thing online. People were blogging, and then it was like, I mainly just saw motivational speakers, and I was like, all right, that's cool. But I always felt like they're not really doing anything. Yeah. And then it rubbed up against my ethics, because it was like, have you done what you hyping people up to do? Like I just didn't get it.
Have you done anything?
Yeah. I'm like, at first, because I just assumed, but then as the more I watch people, I'm like, but you just a guy like hyping people up. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but I can't really do that.
Yes.
And feel right about myself. And it's just, I ended up falling into these jobs, kind of always having my mind on something else. And it's like that's really been one of the hardest parts, is getting my money that way for so long, and then now that it's time to, the spirit moved, and it's like, all right, here's the thing you've been looking for. And it's like, oh, I have these habits of working a job now that I've had to switch up. So it's very interesting you talking about that, and that, I don't know what complex I have. It wouldn't be a hero complex. It's more like kind of the teaching, the self-righteous teacher. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
That's what it is. Yeah,
Gotcha,
it's a self-righteous teacher complex. I've always had that. And I mean, thank goodness that I found and fallen in with not only the right people, because honestly it hasn't always been the right people, but the right teachers.
Gotcha.
And that it's the more I've seen the people, and it's growing up and just being like, people are people. You know, no one's perfect, and that's great. None of us are perfect.
Yeah.
And just continuing to get that out of the way, and then just be like, okay, what is the truth as far as this business, what business is in general, and then bringing it back to the people and be like, okay, what is the truth of this individual and that individual? And especially when we're talking about business, like, what can I trust them to do? Can I not trust them to do? And then bringing that into what's the biggest key for me, and I'm interested to hear in relationship development.
Yeah.
And that it's really given me, this is what we'll touch on. I'll put a pin now, we'll come back to it as far as like personality type. And yeah, I mean, no doubt me and you look at the world differently.
Yes.
And have different personality types. But it's like this business mindset has actually helped me develop my personal relationships. And I've, wherever I took it from, I always looked at it the other way.
Gotcha.
And I always looked at it like, okay, this personal thing, and then I developed this piece, and that's going to take me into business. But it was like, I never liked the personal thing, so then I never got to the business part.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll pause there. So I had a long enough monologue. So
yeah,
anything's coming up for you.
And aren't you, to say what you're saying in the sense of finding it, right? Right now, we are in the age of fads, right? So whatever is popping on social media, that's what everybody wants to do.
Minute fads.
Yeah. You know
got hour fads.
And the thing is, entrepreneurship is one of those fads.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship it's not for everybody, even though they tell you it's easy to start a business. I mean, it's not. Entrepreneurs have one of the highest rates of suicide because of the stresses of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs have some of the highest rates of divorce, bankruptcies, because when it comes to doing business, you neglect your family. Right. You know, the stresses, you bring the stresses home, your wife don't want to deal with that. She want to deal with the man she married, but she now has the boss. And then bankruptcy, because, you know, sometimes business doesn't go right. Money management, projections, all these things come with it. And a lot of people fail to realize it, and that's where you get the bankruptcies. You know, because, yeah, you might do crazy. You might make a lot of money the first 6 months, but then you hit a dry spell. And you don't make any money for 3 months. But you made so much money in the first 6 months. Man, I got these new shoes. You know, baby needs some shoes. You know, I'm taking my wife out to eat. I got a new suit. Right. You have all these things, and you forget that you got to save for those moments that business isn't great, because it's not going to be great 12 years out of the month. Right. It's just not. That's just not how business is. So just making sure that people understand that entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. And I don't recommend to anybody to be an entrepreneur unless it's like really in you. If you can wake up at 4:30 in the morning and go to the gym and pray and read and then be able to move forward in your day, because by the time you hit the gym, like for me, I'm speaking, you know, about that, but I wake up 4:30 and I hit the gym, and after the gym I pray. After I pray, I read. So then by 7:30, it's time to go outside. You know, it's time to go outside and get to it. And from there, I'm outside all day. And the stresses that come with that, I can't bring it home. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people don't want to wake up at 4:30. A lot of people don't want to have a structured day in and day out. They want to flow. Because entrepreneurship is easy, and you get your freedom back, and you don't. Right. You know what I mean? You're better off working a 9 to 5 so you can do 40 hours. Entrepreneurship, you're doing 70, maybe even 80. Right. They don't tell you that. Right. It's very important. Right. Do you want to work 70 hours? No? You might as well stay at your 9 to 5, collect that check, make some wise investments, build your credit. There's all types of ways to get to your financial freedom that everybody loves to talk about. That's another fad. You know what I'm saying? But with this entrepreneurship, I feel like it needs to be voiced that it's not for everybody. And if you're not built for it, don't even try.
Right. Just do it when you're young. when you still mess things up.
Hey, but even then, suicide, bro.
Right.
It drive you to drink. It drive you to do. It will drive you there regardless of how old you are. When you still have time to mess up, it's a level of pressure the normal person will never be comfortable with dealing with.
Right.
A 9 to 5 is a guaranteed. I'm doing 40 hours. I got a check. My bills are paid. Entrepreneurship, you eat what you kill.
Right.
How many lions are in the jungle?
Right.
A whole lot of gazelles, a whole lot of zebras. You know what I mean? There's a whole lot of everything. It's not a lot of lions. You know, not everybody can be a lion, and that's what entrepreneurship is. You got to be a lion. You got to be willing to go out there and do what needs to be done, but then at the same time be able to separate the negatives and not take it personal. You know, I've been successful in soul businesses. You know, in the sense of being the only person I need to worry about in my business as a consultant, right? I've been great at that. Once I got into team building and brick and mortar, that's when things got real. That's when it got real, because then now somebody else's mistakes will put you behind. Someone else's mistakes will put your business at jeopardy, you know. And I've always been a natural born leader, I would say, but I've never really understood how to lead until recently, you know. And that's another part that comes with entrepreneurship, is being able to lead. I'm self-motivated. So because I'm self-motivated, I can get up and go make that happen. The people I've been working with or I have worked with aren't self-motivated. They don't have that. They need direction. At times I felt uncomfortable telling a grown man what to do. You know what I mean? Like, I tell my kids what to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But to tell another grown man what to do, and it's just like, it's common sense, bro. It's not. Common sense ain't common.
Right.
You know? Man, we could just keep going on and on about entrepreneurship and how you shouldn't do it. I promise you, man, I will tell any and everybody not to do it.
Right.
Not to. Because it's, like I said, it's not for the weak, man. And you will lose everything trying to catch up with the Joneses.
A few things come to mind in that, especially the dealing with it. And that one of my biggest drivers is just supporting people, you know, supporting our people, and that we just don't have support. And it's just a lot of what you said that just hit me, as far as, you know, where are the elders? You know, where are the people that have been there, done that before? Where are the people that we can look to you know, reach out and get not only motivation when we need it, when we're low, but really just support overall, and as well as the knowledge. That's one of the words I was looking for. And also had me, I'm gonna jump around a little bit, is Say about like, school ain't for everybody.
No, it's not.
And it's like I was one of those.
I dropped out of 3 colleges.
Yeah. I last semester. I was like, what am I even doing? I just wasted money.
I did university, I did community college, and I did online. So none of it's for me. No. And I did about a semester at every one of them.
That was funny. Yeah, it wasn't until this is like, I like the online learning game, learn your own pace, you get access to the stuff, and of course, if I'm looking at it and paying for it, it's obviously I'm interested in it. Yeah. So, it ain't nothing I have to take because it's some big thing, ain't doing it with people that I don't like. So, yeah, I definitely, I've looked back at that often and be like, why not go to college? Or just stuff like that. I'm like, man, you didn't want to go to no college. Yeah, no. And you went for a little while, remember?
You forgot.
Right.
My mom is still paying off my college loans.
Oh, yeah?
Love you, mama.
That's right. So, and that's what's funny about, like, my son. He a lot more built for that, just in general. Good student, great student, really. And, yeah, he just built for that structured type of environment, and he's always been successful with it. Stepdaughter, completely opposite. We can barely get her homework done. And I'm kind of like, whatever. But then I'm not her daddy. Like, it's fun. It's interesting, the lineage that her and her family come from is that, she has I want to say her grandmother is the disciplinarian type, and she is an administrator in the Lincoln Public Schools.
Okay.
So it's just, she completely out of line. Like she about to be, she borderline in black sheep. Like she gonna be put out. I'm just like, great young lady, smart, really emotional, but has an emotional intelligence that's beyond her years. And yet I gotta watch them just be stressed out about doing some homework that I'm just like, I don't even know if there's anything I really use from school days. You know what I mean? I'm like,
one thing.
Numbers?
No.
Okay. I was saying that's easy. Better be better than that.
Yeah. Critical thinking. We had it in our school.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden it went from critical thinking to language arts. But the critical thinking is what I enjoyed the most because, perfect example. In my household, tone means a lot.
Yeah.
When my mother would change her tone, I knew she was serious. I knew she was joking. I knew how much time I had to play with her before things got serious, right? In other households, they don't have that. It's very soft-spoken. My mother she didn't do, what do you call that, soft parenting?
Soft might be what it's called.
Yeah, something like that.
Go ahead, flesh it out.
It was sit your ass down.
Yeah.
It wasn't, can you sit down, please? No, sit your ass down.
Right.
So, bringing that back to critical thinking, we had to read these passages. And within this passage, we had to basically summarize what the passage was about. So I'm summarizing it from my household's dialogue, from my household's definition, right? Because people use words differently, right? So I would summarize it on how it is in my house. Well, if I'm using my mama's tone in my head when I'm reading these passages, I'm using that. So my interpretation wasn't correct. And at a very young age, I realized that, okay, so I'm not really comprehending what I'm reading because I'm using a personal definition instead of the Webster definition of the word and or sentence structure. So at a young age, I was like, all right, now let me not use my personal definition of these words and how I think it means or believe it means. I need to use it by the definition of the word and the structure of the sentence. And then from there, my grade in critical thinking went from, a C to an A. Because then I picked up dictionaries and I started reading definitions and really understanding what words meant and really paying attention to the structure of the sentence. I would do a trick where I would read the first sentence, I would read the middle of the passage, and then I would read the last sentence. And then I would write down what I, think the passage is about.
Right.
And then I read the whole thing to see if I would still come up with that same understanding of the passage. And that's what really helped me, was that critical thinking. And hopefully, maybe one day schools will bring it back so then our kids can be more knowledgeable and can comprehend the standard English and not our own definition of it, because right now it's not looking too good. Not at all.
Yeah. How much you think it's just what we see, like on the internet and all that, and how much is actual?
In regards of a comprehension?
Yeah, and just critical thinking in the population, in the youth.
No, man, it's by design. Like I said, they took critical thinking out for a reason. They took critical thinking to literacy, language arts. There we go. Right. It went from critical thinking to language arts. We're still reading. We're still trying to comprehend what this passage is about, what the story is about. But words mean something, right? So when I say critical thinking, now you're like, okay, I got to think. But if you just say language arts, the art of language. No, you need to think. It's not about the art of language, because art is up for, it's for open interpretation.
Right.
I think Picasso is ugly.
Yeah.
$1 million paintings.
Yeah.
Open for interpretation. Language arts, open for interpretation. Critical thinking. This was by design to create what we have now. Unfortunately, people that can't critically think and problem solve for themselves, and they run to the quickest solution that they can find. And social media will give you all types of solutions to where you just run yourself ragged, trying different things, spending money with this program, spending money with that program, over learning. That's a thing. I had a buddy, and he would tell me how he would just listen to podcast after podcast after podcast. And he'd be like, man, I learned this and I learned this and I learned this. I'm like, have you practiced any of it? Well, no, not really. Well, what's the purpose of learning something if you can't practice it and put it to use and actually see if it works for you? Because, somebody can tell you something that doesn't work for you. I mean, I've done a lot of things that don't work for me, but I did it because I followed the fad. I did what everybody was doing, right? I played football. I was really great at it, but I don't like being yelled at. I never felt right when the coach would yell at me. Like, man, I don't even like when my mama yell at me. I'd be damned if I let you yell at me. And I never was a team player, right? I would be on the sideline and, coach, you want to win, put Booby in. That's me. I was that person. I was Booby Miles. And, I didn't need the team. And I didn't want the team. I just did it because everybody else did it.
That's what you do,
You know what I mean? And if I had more critical thinking, and if I had more understanding of who I am as a person at a younger age, I would have made better decisions on the path I chose. But I went down a whole lot of paths just because everybody was going down that path. I mean, when you were in high school, teenager,
yes,
did you dibble and dabble in music at all?
Yeah.
Oh, me too. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. What happened?
Nothing. It's fizzled out.
Yeah.
But I always wrote.
Yes.
I always wrote.
Yes.
And I did attempt to do things, but yeah, it didn't
Nah,
go
yeah.
to
Nah.
where. But it's like I look back and when you say there's too much energy in too many different
Yes.
places. And it's just as I've studied the greats, and it's just you gotta have that razor focus for a period of time. And it's I never had that.
Yeah.
Until I would say now, for a period of time, just
Found your
on it and
purpose.
saying, I'm gonna do this
Yeah.
until it's done.
Yeah.
And wherever it takes me also. But that's where the purpose piece comes
Yeah.
in, not just the goal or the target. And that's the other part of it is doing these things as opposed to doing something and being fulfilled in it. And there's I don't ever think it's just one thing, because like as I was taking notes today, and it's like, oh, just be fulfilled and be happy, and this thing, it's like life has different areas in it.
Yeah.
And we got to touch on all of the areas to really not only be a complete person, but then have a complete life.
Yeah.
Like what you said, there's learning and there's doing.
Yeah.
There's the knowledge and then there's using the knowledge.
Yes.
And it's just, that's another big area that people just get caught up in, the learning. And it's just, oh, you ain't gonna do nothing with that? Okay, I guess.
No. Spending hours listening to podcasts. You haven't practiced anything. But hey, you'd invested hours in these podcasts and gave all these views. Put all this money in these other people's pockets that are actually practicing what they're telling you. And most of them aren't even practicing what they're telling you. They're just telling you something that sounds good that they read in a book, and they just find a way to regurgitate it and give it right back to you. So like I said, if you could sell water to a fish, you should just sell products.
Right. Yeah, that's been the biggest thing with, I gotten the right coaches. Bought their program in the last year. Been working with them since then. And the level of detail they have, and that what it's helped me to create. It's like just what you said, seeing it and being like, this person's a clown. But then like doing the work myself and just being like, I can't even give them that much credit. like they ain't on the level at all.
No, not at all.
And how much people just say, I mean, particularly, I'm in this online coaching business, and it's beginning to be a fad. I think it's beginning to be a fad. I mean, just along the same lines as the motivational speaking.
Yeah.
And it's just, if you are real about it, it's just, man, y'all ain't even close. Y'all ain't even close. Like you said, just sit down.
Just sit down.
Or you need to work with somebody. You stop acting like just what you say, you're gonna do it by yourself when you just really don't have the capability.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? And fortunately, I have enough to wear different hats. But it's like what I really want to do, I'm not gonna get there by myself.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's just, you will say something.
No, yeah. Public speaking, motivational speaking. That's 100% a fad. I caught myself on that road of motivational speaking, and in the midst of me going down this road, I realized it was bullshit. 100% bullshit. We're in an information age. We have technology, and this technology can make me out to be a great speaker. Cool. How many great speakers do we know? We got politicians, we got preachers, we got scammers. They speak great. It sounds good. But when I realized the stuff I was speaking about, I was like, I ain't even practiced none of this. I didn't practice any of this. Did I get the information? Yes. The information is out there.
Right.
For me to be able to regurgitate that information and turn it into my own, it's not hard. Change a couple of words around.
Right.
I mean, I did great in school when it came to homework. Like, I'm cheating. I cheated all through school, dog. And all I would do is just, if I had If it was 20 questions and the person I cheat off of got 100%, I'm going to get 80.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure at least 4 of these is wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? At least 4 of them going to be wrong. Just so it's original, right? It's original. But no, yeah, man, we're in the information age, and people are just cutting corners to get by instead of actually doing work. And that's entrepreneurship. Actually doing the work. Actually being uncomfortable. Actually not knowing how you gonna pay rent. How you gonna get more product. How are you going to pay your household rent? Not only your business rent, but your household rent. That's entrepreneurship. Talking to people, motivating people. People don't need to be motivated. People need to go outside and stand in the sun, take their shoes off and their socks, and get grounded. They need to go for a walk. They need to drink some water. They need to eat healthier. They don't need motivation. Because how many times, I know many people that I've sat across from, and I was like, man, you gotta do this, and this is how you do it. Let me give you a solution. You know, and they never followed through. I used to be a personal trainer. 5 years. 5 years. Out of the 5 years of being a personal trainer, I had 3 great clients. 3 great clients that made real change. Out of 5 years. People they don't want motivation, man. They just, personal training was in at the time. Right? Everybody wanted a trainer. If you got a trainer, you're cool. Right? You got a trainer, you got money. So I just happened to be there, and I realized then that people don't want to be motivated. You know, it sounds good. When everybody's doing it, they're going to want to do it. But then as soon as it gets real and they wake up and they sore, they don't want to come work out. I'm sore. I need to rest. That's part of it. This is part of it.
Right.
You really don't want it. You just kind of want it.
Right.
You know.
You bring it up for me. It's like, because I've been thinking about that. Like, well, just my health and all that, and I was just like, this is where my own mind has worked against me for years, because I've always been like, I just do it by myself. And, like I was an athlete, I'll do whatever. And half of the time I would start up, hurt myself, like legitimately hurt myself, and then be like, laid up for a while and whatever. But then the other half of the time I was just like, and it really wasn't until just the last handful of years I was like, man, why didn't I ever like seriously go to a gym, seriously look into, getting a trainer. Now, one thing, just the limited belief, like, it costs too much or whatever, this, that, and the other. But then, as you said, this period in my life, I'm like, I invested all my money into myself, all my money into me learning, this business. And just coming back to that of where it was just, again, recently that I was like, yeah, I need to go to the gym. I need to get a trainer. And it was just such a matter-of-fact thing that I just kind of laugh at myself of all the years that, I thought about this, that, and the other. And then, but also that I've never been one to do something or do something for a long time that I knew I wasn't real about.
Yeah.
And it was just, I'd entertain it, but I always be like, no, I'm not going to do it. So, we talk about school. You know what I'm saying? I took a semester and it was just like, oh, what? No, I'm not doing this. No. I need to go ahead and leave.
You tell me I don't
just
have
try
to be here?
Stick it out, yeah. I'm trying to stick it out because that's what I'm supposed to do. No. Or like you said, the fad. So it's just, I'm not saying I'm immune. I've definitely followed some fads over the years. But,
yeah. I can go down the list of all the fads I followed.
Right.
In music and sports and the modeling and I've done them all. The public speaking. I've hit them all. Just to realize that turn social media off.
Right.
If you're really a business, if you are really an entrepreneur, if you don't need social media for your business, there's no reason for you to be on it. Because it'll make you change your whole business plan, your whole strategy.
Right.
because somebody on there just rented a Lamborghini and they talking about how they drop ship and it's going crazy.
You killing me because I'm reading this book. Good book, by the way. I'll drop it. Called One to Many. But yeah, I'm reading this book and his whole thing, like what he actually sells, is the Amazon. Is that the drop shipping or whatever? Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what he actually sells. But the books, so he's talking about his presentation. The book is about how to put on a webinar, right? But it's just, I'm laughing because the beginning was like, structural and do this, that, and the other. But as it keeps going, he's like, and this is what I say in this part of the webinar. And I'm like, oh, this is some indoctrination.
Yeah.
This is genius. Because I'm reading it and I'm like, man, I need to get out this coaching business, get into this Amazon. This is a good deal. What do I sign up? I throw this book away. Yeah. I'm just like, man, yeah, for it's like funny, I say a weaker mind, but just maybe a less mature mind to where, even my own, I'm not even saying other people. Yeah. It's just, I could see me jumping off of like, oh yeah, this coaching thing good, but man, this Amazon, like, man.
How much you say you made?
Right.
And it is
man, these the numbers?
Yeah.
Oh, you had to do nothing.
I ain't got to do nothing.
I just got to show up.
I just got to wake up and
you gonna do it for me and give me the money?
Yeah.
Really?
All I got to do is pay for your program and you
right.
say less.
Right.
No,
right,
right. But you said something. It is for the weaker mind. It is. Big picture.
Okay.
I'm bad at dates. Boston Tea Party, right?
Yeah.
That was about a 3% tax. People went crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I ain't paying 3% tax. How much we paying taxes now?
I don't know. At least 4.
Way more than 3%. But I'm saying that to say, what was different about those people then compared to now is because we're weaker, right? We're weaker because of the, like I said, big picture. We're weaker because of the foods we eat. We're weaker because of the air we breathe. We're weaker because of the entertainment we consume, right? It's pleasure seeking. It's not purpose seeking. Okay. It's not purpose driven. It's pleasure. I'm gonna do this so I can eat. Oh, I'm gonna do this so I feel good, right? Okay, I'm gonna make this money, and I'm gonna go out to eat. They got this new food truck. They got seafood boils, and it's crazy. I'm gonna go and get me something to eat. Spend all my money on the seafood boil this weekend. I work 40 hours, but I'm gonna get me the seafood boil. It's pleasure driven. That seafood boil is terrible, and grease ain't good for your body. Seafood, all that seafood, mercury, and et cetera, et cetera. Well, I mean, we can go down the list of all the things, but it's because we are a weaker people now mentally. And because we are a weaker people now mentally, it's so easy for us to get distracted and say, ooh, shiny things.
Okay. I think people always been weak. I don't think there is, because what I would ask is percentages.
Okay.
Like when you say we're a weaker people now, and I think percentage-wise, and this goes into my beliefs also, is that I just think people have always been the same, and there's going to be a certain percentage that are strong. Let's just say strong and weak. There's going to be a small percentage that are strong.
Yes.
And the rest going to be weak.
Yes.
And period. Like that's just that's a belief.
Yeah, they say you got 85% want to be led, 10% does the leading, 5% just sit back and watch everything unfold.
Right. Yeah. So we can rock with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that 100%. But yeah, okay, we've been weaker. So then they've just been getting rid of the stronger individuals. They've been getting rid of us any kind of way they can.
I do agree with that. and that's why I guess, and I emphasize it's a belief because it's, the beliefs, I'll keep it on me, but I also believe this is just humans in general. It's like, how can I continue to believe, like, make sure my beliefs are framed that I can continue to move forward and do what I'm supposed to do, and it still be based in reality and actually be logical. So I'm talking about beliefs.
Yes.
So a logical thought process as opposed to how I feel. And you know, like the greatest level of how I feel will be a value. So as opposed to my values, just my beliefs of this is how things are. And then the ops are like, if the ops know that, then it's like you said, well, I ain't gonna mess with the 85.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna focus on this 10%. That's who I got.
Yeah.
That's who I gotta stop. And yeah, that's why I say, yeah, I rock with that. I believe that, and it's part of my purpose. You know, the bigger purpose of what I wish to leave here is just to leave a ground floor for that 10%. To just say, okay, this is where you need to operate, and then try not to get caught up in all that other stuff that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Because it's not that I disagree that that's a problem. All that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, it's a problem for me. So I just think my mind shifted real quick here, but just I know one of my personal issues is that I could say sense, but it's just to get that relief because I've been sober for 16, 17 years, something like that. But no, actually, it's funny because I'm like, I can pause for a minute. Yeah, it's coming up on 17. So yeah, 16 now, about to be 17, about a month and some change. And I eat the stress. You know what I'm saying? It's always been a thing. It's like that's my weight. It's always fluctuated and always been an issue. And just bringing it back to, and I'm not even having the pressure of, because I still got the cushion of the job, but it's just that emotional swing I get with the building process of the business. And it's just, he's just taste something good. Just relax. And I had a good day. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I had a bad day. Same thing. It's just, okay, we've got to find different ways to do that. But again, that's my personal struggle. I said with me and the lady don't live together. And that's something that I've often thought about. Is just, where I'm at. And that the main reason now why we don't live together is because, or even it's like just what you said. More I'm focused on the business, the less time we've spent together.
Yes.
And there are like real relationship stuff, but also it's just that's where the focus is.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, okay, because we're talking about making some moves and stuff, whether in town and then in the future, and it's like, that has to be a factor. Is that the right thing to do? Because I know where I'm at right now, and it's like I've been by myself a long time to where having that, like, the unspoken stress that I just probably am cool by myself, but having another person there, it's like, okay, is that the right move right now? I mean, I'm leaning towards not really, but it's just some of the things you brought up that are hitting home that I wanted to come back around and touch on. And then all that coming back to the 10% supporting themselves. It's like, it ain't a great show, but you ever heard or seen the show Scrubs?
I love that show.
Okay. Now, it was one of them shows that it was on at one of them times that was like it was the only thing on.
Yeah.
Like I think it was like when I was getting off, from
Comedy
school
Central,
or something.
right?
Yeah. No, I'm saying early, when I first see, because I seen it when it was like, when it was coming out. You know what I'm saying?
I seen the pilot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're different generation here. Yeah. So I'm like, I seen it then, and then that was the time I really wasn't watching TV, but it was like, if I was hanging out somewhere, and that was just one of them shows I was on.
Yeah.
And what I always took away from that show, because the whole concept is that these are professionals, and then to release that stress, they gotta act a fool. And I'm like, that's real. Like, all professionals have that. Even when I was going to 12-step meetings, the professionals have their own meeting.
Yeah.
Therapists, doctors, like, they have their own closed meeting. that they don't let other people in if you're not a professional.
No.
You know, just where is that for us? You know, whether we're talking in general of entrepreneurs, we're talking about, you know, being Asiatic leaders. I mean, even just grown men leading a family, being a father, being in the life, you know, even just what I'm saying, having that conversation of, you know, maybe we don't need to live together or whatever it is. And just having an open conversation about it, as opposed to, again, this stuff that you're supposed to do that leads right back into this, as I would say, European psychology fad that we've been riding with. That is just like, this is how we're supposed to be living our life, according to respect to them and their heritage and their culture. It ain't our heritage and our culture. And it's like, the great thing and the horrible thing is that we have a chance to create our own from scratch. But then again, as we said, we're also creating it from scratch. And that's like, I don't know of any other people that I've ever studied that is, I don't even want to say attempting to do that, because I don't know that that's really a thought out there like that I would like to be a major thought. To get critical thinkers together and actually build, like, hey, let's build civilization.
But how,
Go ahead.
But then it comes back down to that 10%, right?
Yes.
And so, let's just say, for argument's sake, the bad people did a good job of getting rid of 5% of the 10%.
Right.
I mean, this is it. We're in Lincoln. I mean, I don't know any other 10%ers. Right? And not in the sense of 10%ers of like, don't get me wrong. There are people out there that have businesses.
We got that Du Bois.
You know what I mean? Like,
the talented 10th.
Yeah, the talented 10. Like, for sure, it sounds good, but I mean, like, that 10% that's really willing to lead for the betterment of, right? You got a 10%. You got some individuals within that 10% that's for sale.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
for sure.
So with that being said, if you're for sale, you really can't be a 10%, because 10% is a leader. 10% can't be bought. 10% is not for sale.
I do. Overall, I agree with the thought. First, and I'm gonna lead into kind of what you get, is just, if this is the concept, the plan, like, how does that actually happen, right? It's what you said, really, at the end of the day, when we're talking about real numbers. Like, you need a certain amount of people, and if you only got half of the whole that you need, you know, how can it happen? Yeah, it's ain't an easy answer. And I mean, to be fully transparent, I mean, that's always been a struggle. And I just chose at this point in my life to pick a lane and ride it out with the rest of my days of my life. But
ooh, I mean, that sounds kind of.
Well,
I'm just gonna ride it out with the rest of my life.
Oh, well, I'm just saying, ride out my purpose.
Okay.
It's just, I'm not switching up my lane.
Okay.
You know
all right.
I'm riding down this lane. I'm on it.
Okay.
And this is what we're doing.
Yeah, because it was just like, I'm just going to mosey.
Oh, yeah. We lay down the path.
Because that sounded depressing, nigga.
My purpose is to be put out the pastor.
Yeah, that sounded a bit depressing. I said, man, I'm just going to ride down.
No, I got to do it. Yeah. But in my younger, that was always an issue. You know, I'll just say it outright. And, you know, me and my lady, because we were together years ago, broke up, you know, and then made back up. Just be like, what if the Illuminati right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it is just, maybe that's an option. You know, that's possible. So I just chosen my lane, and I'm like, all right, you know, and yeah, it happened. Is that just in this moment that it can be depressing sometimes. So it's like, I wasn't feeling that as far as me personally. But it come off like that, and I'm like, I'm glad it did, because it's that deep sometimes. Just what we're talking about, the real emotions of doing something bigger than yourself and wanting to help others. And that's why I went down the lane I went down of, middle finger to everybody else, say, "Oh, dumb, they're not critical thinkers," whatever. And I made a conscious choice to die by being an alcoholic when I was 18. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm either gonna die or I'm gonna reach enlightenment. So I'm not dead yet. I don't know if I'm enlightened, but I'm here. Yeah. But I just chose a lane, and that goes back to it aligns with my beliefs and my values. Mm-hmm. Is that's what I'm gonna push for, and I'm hopeful. I know one thing that is the one hope I do have for the internet, is that without that, I don't think it's possible.
Yeah.
That, just like you said, we're in Nebraska, and you have to connect with more people.
Yeah.
And I don't think, from what I've seen, I don't think there's any one area. Like even Nebraska, I mean, definitely not Nebraska.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I haven't heard better other places. And honestly, I shouldn't be hearing better. I should be hearing it's done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I should be hearing, what you just said? Yeah. Oh, man, we have that in New York. We have that in California. We have that all through the South, where all people that look like us are.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't heard that. Huh. Okay. So I'm like, that's my last hope, is like, okay, the internet, to where we can connect with very like-minded people.
Gotcha.
And that the lack of specificity with individuals and what they actually believe and what they actually value keeps us getting took. Keeps us going down wrong lanes, keeps us dealing with people that, as you said, they talk good, but they ain't really about it.
They're for sale.
Now I'll land on one piece of, I am interested to hear the thought, because like when you say that, I'm just like, don't we need mercenaries? Don't we need hired guns? They ain't supposed to be in the room. Like this room. Okay. They ain't supposed to be in this room.
For sure.
But they have their place.
100%.
Kind of how I think.
That's not what I mean when I say they're for sale. Okay. When I say they're for sale, I'm speaking in the understanding of people that are supposed to be in this room, that'll sit in this room and have this dialogue with us, and we will discuss our solutions, and then they'll turn around and sell these solutions to individuals that will prevent us from coming to our solution.
Yeah.
Right? Queen and Slim. You seen that movie?
No.
Queen and Slim is a movie about this young black man, young black woman. They go on a blind date, or they go on a date. And in the midst of them going on a date, they get pulled over by the police. The police officer gets a little bit too aggressive, and fight breaks out. And in the process of the young black dude protecting his date, he ends up killing the police officer. So they're on the run. So now they on the run from the police. They looking for him. And the whole movie, they're just on the run, and they have all these people that are helping them. They got people that look like them helping them. They got people that don't look like them helping them, right? They got people, and they got other police officers helping them get away. The end of the movie, they get sold out by somebody that look like them.
Right.
They get sold out by somebody that is like, yeah, I'm for the people, gold grill and everything. Like, yeah. And he sell them out.
Right.
Get the reward money. The end of the movie, they show different clips or scenes throughout, this part of the movie. And one of the scenes they show is the dude that sold him out. Counting money. Watching the news. Seeing how they just got killed. That's what I mean when I say for sale. That's what I mean when I say there are people like that around us who will do that. There are people around us, I know, and I've learned from my entrepreneurship, that there are individuals that will inject themselves in your life, put themselves in a position in your life just to move you out of that position and take it.
Right.
And that's when it becomes like, you know, you start getting paranoid, and you're like, I don't want to do business with nobody. I don't care if you say you're 10% or not. I'm just about to sit over here by myself because I did something over here and it didn't go well.
Right.
You know, yeah, that 10%. I mean, we can sit here and we can talk about it and go back and forth on it. But I can even say personally, that's my hang up. Right, that's my hang up as an entrepreneur. This most recent business venture I embarked on it with partners, you know. And like I said, I've never been a team player, but I've learned during this time with them in pursuing this business, I learned how to be a team player. I learned how to be a leader, right? Just to get taken advantage of. And for me personally, you know, my mother taught me you treat people the way you want to get treated. And so for me to invest as much financially, emotionally into this business, just for it all to come crumbling down, not because of my own mistakes. Right. Well, not because of my intentional mistakes, but my mistake of trusting, you know, said individuals and putting them in positions that they weren't fit to be in, lose it all. Now I'm back at square one. So now I got a bad taste in my mouth. So now I'm like talking to my wife and I'm like, I'm about to do this 9 to 5 for a minute, you know, just so I can figure out what I want to do. Like, do I really want to do it? Because to be honest, I started that business not because I wanted to start it. I started it because I got a hero complex and I want to save people. And I had an opportunity to put certain people in a position to win. And I wanted to be able to do that, not just so I could toot my own horn and say I did that, but because I love you and I want you to have that. And for me, it's like, man, for me to go above and beyond, and this happened, yeah, I don't think I want to do nothing no more, man. And I know it's just, it's a growing pain, you know, it's a learning experience. I had to learn it sooner or later. I'm not saying I'm done with entrepreneurship, because I'm not.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because I have a passion for it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I really have a passion for it. I really enjoy, it sounds crazy, but I enjoy the stress of it. Huh? I feel alive. Huh? You know, going out there hunting, getting it. You know,
I feel you.
No, yeah, I love it.
Because I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. There's a few times I wanted to jump that I'm just like, it's irresponsible. But yeah, there's a few times I wanted to jump out of the job, and it's just like, it's not response. But yeah, that feeling, and I'm just like, it's one of them. And I'm like, man, I could have been, you know. That's why I like my belief and all that. It's like, Allah governs all events, and I wouldn't be who I am to be in this moment with you without all that I went through, that cornball stuff. But I'm just like, as I appreciate, I suck it up. I'm just like, well, I want to be 100 too. I'm gonna get there.
Yeah, I'm gonna get there. Yeah, most definitely, man.
Yeah, that's how you built.
No, yeah.
So yeah, there's no doubt.
I'm built that way. So, like I said, I'm not tapping out. It's just I need to recover. You know, I've been scorned, and I need to get back to myself. I need to get back to my family.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I got a great wife. I got a great family. They understand. So the support is there, but during my years of being back here in Nebraska, I neglected them a lot, pursuing what I've been pursuing, for it all to end the way it did. So right now, I'm, you know, taking a back seat. You know, I'm being a father. I'm being a husband. I'm not being an entrepreneur right now. I'm not. Every time somebody come with me with a problem, it kills me inside. I got a solution. So.
What kind of problems you like solving?
All of them.
Yeah, all of them.
Everything. I want the problems that can't nobody solve.
Okay. What are some of the most exciting problems you solve?
Most exciting problems I've solved. From like business standpoint.
No, just in general.
In general.
Just in life. Like
in
what
life.
are the things that really, like just thinking about it now, I'm about to see you light up.
Okay.
Like what really lit you up in those problems you solved, the moments, what?
Okay. I called my little brother. I met this guy when I was at the community college doing a semester. His name is Lawrence, and he just really looked up to me, right? And he would just always come to me with problems. Hey man, I need some help. Hey man, I need some help. And I was always there, right? I was always there, always helping, always guiding. And recently I spoke to him probably like 2 months ago. And, we talk like every, 6 months, hey, how you doing? And I spoke to him and he says to me, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for you. He said, everything that you taught me, being there for me, being the example that you are, he was like, that's why I'm where I'm at. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm about to have my third kid. And he was like, what? He said, man, I can't wait to get there. He was like, everything you do, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would say that's something that really lifted my spirits, just to be reminded that I did that. Because you don't realize that you solve a problem until the problem is no longer there, right?
Right.
And I'm always solving problems for other people. I mean, I got my own problems, still working through. And but to be able to help somebody else with their problem, whether it's dealing with relationships, whether it's dealing with just being a young black man in America, to be able to give somebody a solution, like personal training, right? To be able to give you a workout plan and you stick to it. And you said you wanted to lose 10 pounds, but you lost 15. And you love it. And you're going to keep going now, moving forward. Like, those are the problems I like to solve. I like to solve those problems. Like I said, I wake up and choose violence. You know what I'm saying? I wake up and I'm like, who we fighting today? Right. And that's why I pray. I pray because I'm like, give me the strength. And I pray for everybody that stands in my way, because I'm ready to fight at all times to get what I want and to achieve what I want to achieve. And yeah, man. But that's like my number one story when it comes to a problem I've helped solve. This young man, and now he's like, great job, working on saving up to get a house, and I was able to motivate him to do that. I was able to guide him through those steps. And like I said, this wasn't something that took a couple of months. Like, this is years. This is years and hour-long conversations, and But yeah, that's a problem that I solved and that I'm very proud about.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I know you bringing up, but I am. I am. Threw me off a little bit, but
don't cry. Whatever you do.
Why?
Why? Why can't I cry?
Why can't I cry? I was just gonna say it, but it's for the word. I can't find the word. That's the issue. So I'll go the other way. Like the word I was looking to describe, I'll just go the other way. Give you your flowers. It's the honors in your emotional intelligence, and just being able to even be like, I got to work through some things. I got some things I got to, deal with just on a personal level. And Yeah, I never been a big crier though.
Oh man, I'm a crybaby.
I've a lot more as I've gotten older,
Oh,
and I
man.
think it's just getting in touch with that emotional side to myself. And I mean, I need to do more. It's like, you know, I'm one of them that's like, oh, I cried. I'm like, don't ever have to do that again.
Don't ever do it again.
But it's like, to tap into that part of me that's been I don't even want to say it's a struggle. It's just the struggle has been the consistency.
Yeah.
Because I've always been aware of that part and all that. So I'm just, you being aware of it and doing something. And I think that's one thing that I really appreciate from the younger generations. I think they're far more emotionally intelligent than I was and the elders were. And then also not only emotionally intelligent, but just knowing it's kind of basic psychology, you know, things that we all go through.
Yeah.
And even it's like most of the newer entertainment, I just think it's like I want to say it's I was gonna say whether it's trash or not good or whatever, but it's really, I'm just talking from a pure like writing standpoint. Like I ain't even saying like, oh, this, that, and the other. Like I'm not talking about particular things that are in it. But anyway, that's not where I was going anyway. I was just saying that the one thing I do like is that there's a lot more of that talk. Like just in general about emotions, and especially the irony of it is that really cartoons are so much better than friggin' like, you know, real life Hollywood stuff. Yeah. It's like some of the stuff I've seen over the years. I'm like, man, they touching on that, you know, and it might just be something a little real quick or something here and there, but it's like, so I think it's a lot more embedded in the youth that this is a part that we all have, one that you got to take care of it, otherwise
you got to take care of it, but you have to be in control of it. And that's where and that's where it gets a little bit touchy, you know, because I'm in touch with my emotions, but I'm also a man, so be careful. Just be careful, because I mean,
that's right.
I was raised by a woman, right? So that's where a lot of my emotional intelligence comes from, being in touch with. But I go 0 to 100, and I have to stop myself, man. I mean, there's been multiple times to where my emotions got the best of me,
right?
And I almost allowed those emotions to ruin everything that I had. So there's a constant battle between balancing out my emotion and my logic.
Right.
Like, I don't like said individual, and I would really enjoy causing physical harm to said individual.
Right.
But logically speaking, if I did that, I might not be able to go home.
Right.
Now, if I use my logic and my creativity, I can find all types of ways to make this person's life uncomfortable without having to physically harm anybody, right? And that's where that balance of logic and emotion comes in. And like for you, you know, being an elder, you guys have logic, right? Your feelings are just like, you know. But you have that logic, you know, and so that's why I try to make sure, even when I teach my sons, you know, be in your feelings, take a moment, but then you need to be logical enough to solve that problem, you know what I mean? Because how many people do you know, family members that have solved problems with their emotions, and they lose everything because they solved it with their emotions and not their logic. And us as men, we need to be able to understand that we have both.
Indeed.
And we have to be able to use both. You know, that's what makes us great leaders in the household. And not only in the household, but in the community. Being able to problem solve with our logic, but be able to identify those emotions.
Right.
So, yeah.
For sure. That's why I get to pull out my personality type bag.
Okay, what you got?
Well, if these, and this is all, it's like, it's an artful science, personality type, right? So it's really, that's just psychology in general.
I love psychology.
It's more of what, I mean, it's like, this stuff can't be, like hard science.
No,
you know what I mean? Because it's dealing with the mind, dealing with behavior, et cetera, and obviously emotions, big part of that. But it's just, I mean, what I've observed over the years is just the difference between me not really tapping into my emotions like that is that most men be faking it.
Yes.
And it's that bottling it up. Now I've done that, but I think I just have a higher threshold. And that honestly, even that, as I look over the years, there was a time when I realized I wasn't that attached to my emotions, like me personally. And it's like, and it's actually fun for me because it doesn't happen often, but when somebody really gets me emotional, usually it's when I feel like they're trying to play me.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's just some small petty stuff, it usually is, job stuff or this, that, and the other. But it's like somebody trying to tell me something, and I'm like, that don't sound right. And that will get me going. But it's like, so I'll get in a yelling match, we can be, all that, and then I'll just start laughing. Because it's just like, like it ain't that deep to it. But it's just, that's something I can do. And once I realize that, it's just, I use it. But then I also, the older I've gotten, just depending on who the person is also, it's like I don't just do that with anyone.
No, yeah.
Because it's like, I don't need to go there like that. But then talking as I've gotten older and how, especially when you're trying to do something.
Yes.
And it's, you believe in it. Your identity's attached to it. And it's those emotions that's what over the last handful of years I was just like, oh, okay, I'm way more emotional than I thought, especially when it's about me.
Yes.
Like outside of me, that's what I mean. Like things outside of me don't usually bug me that much. But yeah, overall, I've seen people that, I mean, those are the most dangerous people, man. It's like, that's why that was the other thing I never understood is once I heard that, and it's just, most, I mean, you could say even when you get into trauma and all that, but outside of that, it's like, yeah, people that have those deep feelings, yeah, it comes up.
Yeah.
And they're ready to, even in the greatest ways of defending their people. So it's just, but yeah, I absolutely agree with that. It's funny, my son's more on my side, very stoic, all that. And that I think is probably, as you said, because he's lived with his mother most of his life. So it's just with her, and then, I allow him also when the things do happen of being able to play in that, his emotions, and then having that woman walk him through it. And that with personality type, or what type I think you are, it's the internal feeling and then the external thinking. So it's just what I heard was, I feel this certain type of way, and then I walk myself through externally what's going to happen logically.
Yes.
If these things happen, this is what's going to happen in the world based on how I feel. And I have that same resonance, that same frequency that I tap into. It's just flipped though, is that my external thinking is just above the internal feeling. So it's just, that's where I tend to, but when I was younger, it's had a lot of feelings that didn't have the logic behind it.
Gotcha.
So it's just, I relate to that. But that's what I'm saying. I was like, what I think as far as the personality type is that we just kind of flipped, basically. Like you're kind of the, as we said, like my back seat is what you like rocking with every day. Yeah. And then your back seat is how I'm rocking every day. To where, we're just more analytical and thinking on that piece. But yeah, I think it's healthy to wish harm on people and then not do it.
No, yeah,
no, I don't like that. Like, you're not supposed to think. No. Man, I'm thinking all that. I'm going through all the scenarios, and then I'm gonna just be like, all right, I'm not gonna do it.
Check this out.
No.
I'll cook dinner for my family. We'll sit down at the table and I'll pray. And part of my prayer would be, I pray that everybody that crossed me fail miserably. Oh no, yeah. I mean, it's no. I put it in the. I put it in the
that.
ether.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
No, I put that in the ether, bro, because it's one of those things. It's if I don't say it out loud, I've realized that if I don't say things out loud and I keep it in my head, I go down this rabbit hole.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But if I just say it and I put it out there, I said it. It's out there. I shared it. I don't have to think about it. Because I've always been like that for a very long time, because I just kept it all inside, you know, and I just blow up once my cup gets too full.
Right.
You know what I mean? But now I'm just like, nah, even, and I say it, and my wife would look at me, and she'd be like, well, okay then. Oh, well, okay then. Nah, yeah, man, I wish all the bad things to happen to you, and only you. Not you, but, you know. Nah, yeah, man, I mean,
it's a player hater's ball.
Yes, yes. Yeah, man. Hey. No, yeah. So, yeah.
Nah, I think that's healthy. I was like, yeah, I've thought that for a while. I'm just like, it's just, and yeah, I don't express that a lot to people. But as far as like, well, my thoughts alone, but I'm just saying like that philosophy. But you know, a lot of people in the circle. So it's just like, but, and I mean, yeah, I know the lady. She's a straight lover. You know, she's a lover of people. To where I'm just like, it's as I've gotten older, and just what you're saying, and just with that frequency that I was talking about, it's like that's something I'm doing more of as I get older, just as maintenance. You know, and then adding that into the, you know, moving my body, working. I'm like, okay, this is why I need exercises.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Lose some weight.
I'll eat it away instead of being like, okay, I need to, you know, get in my body, move around with it. You know, like, oh yeah, that's your face.
Yes. This is me picking you up and throwing you. No, yeah, man, that's what I do.
Appreciate that.
No, yeah, I bench press dudes, man.
Right.
I find out how much you weigh, and I go in the gym and I bench press you.
Right.
Yeah, aggressively.
Oh, yeah, right.
And then I'm like, oh, I was tripping.
Right.
Oh man, you was tripping. It ain't that big of a deal, but it is though.
Right.
But it is. Yeah.